Hello and welcome to the e-commerce leader series, the podcast dedicated to helping senior leaders, founders, and COOs navigate the future of online retail with AI. I'm your host, Bryan Kinghorn, Head of Growth at Luca AI. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Eric Sheinkop, co-founder and CEO of the Desire Company. So Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Before we dive into our topics of conversation today, would you mind just telling us a bit more about you, the business, and your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be here. As we mentioned just before recording, my wife is from Scotland, so it's a familiar place to be, even though we're in the States and in Atlanta currently. But about me, I was in the music industry my entire life. Came up in the music industry and connecting musicians with brands, mostly to do commercial work and movies and TV shows. And then I sold part of that company to Coca-Cola, which is what moved me to Atlanta, and how we ended up here. After I exited that business, I was not allowed to work in the entertainment or music sector for quite a while. And then it just so happened, I had an issue that I was looking to buy a product, and I kept on looking online, and I was reading 1-star reviews and 5-star reviews on the same product, like completely contradictory, very misleading. Couldn't get through the review section. I was looking at what influencers had to say, and it was just overwhelming with, again, both sides of the coin. Some potentially good information, but there was no way of knowing what it was, like which was good and which was false. So I leaned on the network of people that I had, and I would make calls, and I'd say, hey, you're in this industry. This is what you use. These are the situations that you face. What are the products that you use for this? What's something that you rely on for this? And they would tell me, and it just made the shopping experience so much easier because I had these experts that I could tap into, that I had this network of people who were very advanced and certified or professional in their particular lane, and I could tap them for guidance. And so that's what we created at the Desire Company. Is we saw this incredible gap of credibility and trust falling off the consumer journeys, particularly at the point of purchase. And we have solved that by injecting expert recommendations, advice, guidance at the point of sale. And we see incredible results with massive surges and spikes when you add that credentialed expert's voice.
Yeah, nice. It sounds amazing. It sounds like a really valuable business. So, would you mind just like explaining who your clients? Like, you don't have to name
Sure.
names if you don't want to name, but like, what types of businesses are you working with, and exactly what do you do for them?
Yeah. So we get integrated primarily into retail media networks. So Walmart, Sam's Club, Tractor Supply, Best Buy, they will actually sell our services to all of the brands that they carry. So they say, look, you're going to sell more product if you have one of these expert video reviews from the Desire Company. So they sell our product. They charge more money than we charge them. So it's a really solid revenue stream for the retailer. But the beautiful thing is the brands see a big surge in sales. So there's 2 case studies that Walmart and Sam's Club just put out on us. And one is with a mattress company called Ghost Bed. When they incorporated our videos, sales went up 4x, 4 times the amount of sales. Now, Sam's Club is actually the largest mattress seller in the United States. And to be able to add our videos to increase sales 4 times what they were already doing is pretty significant. And then you look at something, there was a Ninja Creamy, which is a way to make ice cream at home. We incorporated our videos on the PDP at the point of purchase, and sales went up 3x. So they started selling 3 times as many products by incorporating our videos there. And so but it works across from consumer electronics to food, nutrition, sports, all across, baby, all across the board.
Nice, awesome. No, it's great. It sounds, as I said before, it sounds like an awesome tool that you've created, and well done, and congratulations on that. And in regards to, like, obviously you've said you've built a business before, you're building a business now. What's been like the sort of one consistent belief that's like guided you through your business journey so far? Is there one like guiding belief or principle?
Yeah, it's authenticity when it comes to the connection and marketing. And now beyond marketing. So that's all I was really focused on in my music career, was finding the right musician, the right music, to enhance a product's message through a commercial or a campaign or an integration of some kind. It couldn't be, we couldn't just pick the song because it was the most popular song on the radio, because all of that is contrived and all of that is paid for by labels. So what we specialized in was finding unknown musicians and then placing them in commercials. And you would see this incredible reaction from the public, where you were helping them discover new artists, you were helping them connect with product, understand the product in different ways. And that authenticity is what we brought into the retail sector. Yeah. So from the marketing aspect in music to bringing it in initially to the marketing aspect, but now we really just see a lot more than just marketing value. It's true conversion. So that authenticity and having a genuine, reliable connection, that makes all the difference.
Nice. And when did you start the business, and how have you seen like the customer shopping journey change over that time since you started the business compared to now?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing it. We were really B2C initially. We were creating content just for consumers about what pro athletes used for recovery or for training, and what Beyonce's makeup artist, what she used, and choreographers and all of these things, and it was directed towards the consumer. But in 2020, during the pandemic, brands weren't able to create commercials anymore. Everybody had to stay inside. Well, our content, we were able to continue creating because of the way that we were doing it and who we were integrated into these campaigns. So we really exploded during the pandemic initially. And then the entire model of how people are shopping has changed just recently with AI. Every conversation that we're having now is agentic first. And what's really nice is because we work with the big retailers out there, they're not waiting around to see what's going to happen. They're trying to get ahead of it. They're investing to get ahead of it. So the AI, revolution, we're just at the very, very, very start of it, but it has already completely shifted shopping behaviors for all industries, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you think about the way that a customer finds something right now, it could be on TikTok, it could be a review on Instagram, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Amazon, it could be the brand website, retailer's website. Like, there's so many different places now that sort of purchase decision could start or be cemented. So thanks for bringing up AI, and that brings me nicely on to my sort of next question would be, so how do you then continue seeing your business playing a part as that AI shopping experience continues to expand?
Yeah, so there's several things. Number one, we didn't understand why our videos were surfacing when people would search in chat or in Gemini or whatever it was, whatever browser system or language model they were looking in, our videos would show up. And what we found out was it was because of the layers of data and how we structure the data that goes into the video. That's what AI search is looking for. So it's very different than the keywords of SEO. People aren't searching by keywords. People are searching with phrases. They're searching with topics. And our videos have always covered, what a product does, why somebody likes it, who they recommend it for, what are the results that you could expect from this product. So it's very different from influencer content, which is like, hey, blah, 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 and AI is skipping that content. They're not even looking at it because it doesn't answer the question. So where that has been really effective for awareness, when it comes to actually surfacing content, it's a very different data structure that needs to go into that content, be it written or video. What AI has done for us is it allows us to create more personalized experiences for wherever the customer is in the journey. And I don't mean like it's going to say, hey, Bryan, this or that. It's going to know, though, if you're familiar with the product, if you're watching it on CTV, if you're looking at it on TikTok, if you're looking at it through chat, if you're looking at it on Google, if you're looking at it on the website, however you're experiencing that product and where you are in your relationship to understanding the effectiveness or value of that product, our content is going to speak to you directly there. And AI has allowed us to really get so granular with the data and how we're speaking to customers. It's pretty phenomenal.
No, that's awesome to hear and really interesting. So see if you were to be presented with a brand's product page, PDP, and you had 5 minutes to audit that. Obviously, your videos will play a part in it, but what are the sort of key things that you feel should be on a PDP to really maximize that conversion opportunity?
Yeah, it's a great question. We actually have what we call a PDP audit, and it's been doing incredibly well. And all you have to do is you go to our website and you go to the little landing page for the audit. You put in your PDP, you put in your website, you put in where you're selling product, and it will scan it within 10 seconds, and it will tell you, here are your opportunities. Human conversionist scores and agentic readiness scores. And we score them very differently, and then we weight one final score. And it is amazing to see, it's not an amount of content that you have to have on a page. It's not an amount of video. It's nothing like that, which we used to be told. Like, I remember when Amazon, a couple of years ago, they said everybody has to have 4 videos on their page. Well, what type of video? All video isn't created equal, so that's not good advice. You really have to get a lot more specific about it. But at the end of the day, the things that a PDP needs to have, besides all the product information, is enough to convince me that this is the right product, not influence me, but really, truly give me all the information that I need, because that's where it goes wrong. People will say, okay, I'm interested, but this page is trying to sell me. So let me go offline and I'm going to look on Reddit, or I'm going to look at other websites, or I'm going to look at other reviews, and I'm going to do my own third-party research to figure out if this is the right product for my needs. And a good PDP will have it all answered right there. The way we recommend doing that is with expert video, so you could understand, again, how to use it, how to put it together. And it's not just at the point of purchase, but it's, post-purchase even. You're getting an email that says, congratulations on your new whatever. Here's how to put it together. Here's how to take care of it. Here's how to get the most value out of it. But it's an exciting time in e-commerce, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, then what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see brands make on their PDPs?
I think the 2-for-1 or buy it now to get 20% off. I think you see a lot of returns when that's the type of push. Now that's really good to get people to your PDP, but it's not enough to convince them that this is the right product if you haven't done enough legwork to educate them. Education is the biggest missed opportunity. It is the biggest, that credibility is the biggest gap within e-commerce. So I think that if you're leading with pure product descriptions that were written by a computer or that were written by AI, aren't actually connecting with the use case for the consumer and how they want to use your product, and you're leading with the wrong type of messages when it comes to conversion. Again, that awareness, that education, consideration, then conversion, and then post-purchase to make sure people don't return your product. That's all really important. But when it comes to the PDP itself, real credible education is the number one opportunity.
Yeah, perfect. And then I also saw something on your website around a lot of brands, their product pages are effectively invisible to AI.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly do you mean by that, and how do we rectify it?
So if you think about how people actually search, they're not searching for, okay, what are, best wireless headphones? That's how we searched 3 years ago. But overnight, we no longer search like that. We tell exactly what we want it for. Best wireless headphones for jogging, in hot weather where I'm going to be sweating, or as a triathlete training who's going to go from swimming, so they need waterproof headphones, to biking, to running, whatever it might be. People are so much more descriptive in the products that they're looking for, and they're looking for a very specific solution. So if you are just focused on keyword SEO, AI isn't even looking at it. AI isn't, it's just totally like got blinders on and it's skipping your page, which is the most interesting opportunity, because there's these behemoth old school brands that have owned all of the meta dollars that go towards advertising and the SEO keywords and everything. And now a tiny little challenger brand, just with better education, could completely overtake it in this new world of how we're searching. So I think that's having information there that actually is layered, structured, educational data is what AI is looking for. So if your video, or even and like the great thing about video is it comes with the text in the background, and that text in the background will layer on. And so if you're saying, what are the best headphones for swimming and running, a very specific video will come out from a triathlete that says, I like these because I'm able to swim in them, I'm able to run in them, I'm able to sweat, and they're not going to get loose or fall off my ears. That's what AI wants to know. AI is just an extension of how we actually think. All right. So instead of us having to force ourselves, like, I guess, what's the right keyword? We're just able to talk, and AI is translating for us.
Yeah, nice. And on that then, so how, I'm sure all your clients are very well prepared, but in general, because I love the comment about, challenger brands can basically compete with the massive brands that have got huge budgets on this now. So, but in your opinion, how many brands are actually prepared for AI-driven product discovery?
I think the younger brands are more prepared than the older brands. And here's why I say that. We speak to a lot of brands that are incredibly well known, and they are losing market share every single week. They are dropping in market share. Some slower than others, but it's happening because they are so slow to make changes. There's so many layers of approvals that need to happen. And if you're going to start changing the way that you describe your product, that has to go through all the legal and everything else of that nature. And it holds them up. And versus everyday competitive challenger brands are able to test and just keep on moving and see how things, you're able to test in real time right now. You're able to put a bunch of agents together too and run A/B tests without ever having to actually launch. So, if you're just willing to be a little bit more nimble and put a little hustle into it, there's this, I think, once in a lifetime opportunity for these tiny brands to completely take over the market. And we are seeing it. And so for the small brands, I think, again, it's not trying to conform to what it used to be. It's trying to explain your product the way that people actually are looking for a product, the way that they're actually thinking about a product, not best travel mug. I'm going on what type of travel? Is it in a car? Is it on an airplane? Like whatever it might be, that's how people are discovering products. So you have to be AI ready from that perspective.
Yeah, nice. And then if you were to be building a content strategy for a brand from scratch today, so new brand comes to you, or a a strategy to work with you guys, are you sort of building that strategy around marketing channels or the shopper journey? Like how do you come at that?
It's a good question. It's more the shopper journey,
Yeah,
and you have to meet consumers where they are. Do they know what your product does, or do you have to say, "Hey, here's a product. Let me tell you a little bit about why you should be interested in it." Then the next layer of that shopper journey is, "Okay, I'm aware of this product. I'm interested. Tell me more. I want to see all the different use cases of this product." And then when I'm really leaning in, you really have to educate me on why this is the right product and it's better than any of the other competitive products on the
yeah,
market. The difference is today, like a lot of times in the past, when we'd be shopping, we'd see a product that we were interested in, and then you'd immediately start looking at competitive products and trying to compare the specs of what's different. But from a marketing strategy perspective, if you have all the information there on the PDP, there's no reason anybody's ever going to jump to look at a different product. So, that shopper journey, not only is it, okay, this product exists. Now let me entice you as to why you should be interested in it. Now you have my attention. Now I want to be educated on it. Now I'm converting, whatever that might be. But you also have to meet them wherever they are. If they're on social media, that's a very different type of content than they're watching on CTV, on Hulu or Roku or
yeah,
Netflix. If they're there, that's very different than how you have to communicate with that same person if they're looking online.
yeah,
If they're on a PDP versus if they're starting in Chat GPT, like all of it is very different. And we build all of our content. It's all built through neuroscience, and so it is absolutely 100% proven to increase purchase confidence 300%, and then your sales go up. But that's what you have to get over. The first thing for a brand to do is, people don't trust your product. Right? They're not
yeah,
going to trust that it actually does what it says it's going to do. So you have to have a third party expert who is believable enough, that they don't look like a spokesperson who's just been paid, but that you could actually see them using the product and the results that anybody could expect from using your product.
yeah. Yeah. Awesome, great. Really good insight. And then I suppose moving on slightly to obviously you're preparing brands for, their AI readiness in regards to content and, purchasing journey and that type of thing. But in regards to the Desire company and you as a leader of that business, how are you utilizing AI within your business?
Yeah,
So that can be you as a CEO or the business. Like how are you beginning to use AI or
sure.
how far off you are?
Yeah, I was saying, I think like we are probably a 5 to 6 out of 10 in terms
Okay.
of AI use.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm proud of that, but there's a long way to go. The three areas that we really use AI the most, I mean, obviously there's the tools that we use for collaboration and
Yeah.
recording conversation and follow-ups and all of that. That's just kind of like, you got to be doing that at this
Yeah.
point. Otherwise, you're wasting hours and days.
Yeah.
But beyond kind of what I would see is like the obvious things that are going to help progress optimization of your day to day within a business. Um, One of the hardest things for brands to do is find the right expert to talk about their product, the right expert to create that trust. Just because somebody's certified in nutrition or in this or that doesn't mean that they're right for your brand and for your audience. So we use AI to go through our community of experts to find the right experts to pair with the right brand and the right product.
Okay.
Like that's
Okay.
number one. That saves us days, if not weeks. And it lines up much better, much more consistent success. The second is what I mentioned is that PDP audit tool. So it allows
Yeah.
us to go to clients and not be starting from scratch and saying, "Well, tell us your problem and this and that." We could, the second that they get on a call, we could say, "Look, we want to hear from you. We also could show you right now where there's some things that are missing that you could do that are very easy that are going to prove your conversion." That's all brands want to do, is improve their conversion. Everybody thinks that, they want to get more eyeballs on the PDP, more visitors to the PDP. If you are not getting your highest conversion consistently, then it doesn't make sense to try to get more people to your page till you fix that. And the third area that we're using is really in just being ready for every single meeting that we have. We have about 13 agents, 14 agents who will prep our sales team for every meeting that they have. And it's amazing. It's about a 20-page booklet that you get, and it's what an analyst would do at a PE firm, but it's done in 20 minutes, right? And we run it through our Slack channel. So if we have a meeting coming up, it's just automatically pulling, generating, and saying, here's who's on your call. Here's everything about them. Here's some of the decisions that they've made in the past. Like, here's what their product is launching that they're looking, and here's what we anticipate that they might be looking for. And this is what's going to help with them making decisions. So it learns like you're not getting on any call anymore and starting from scratch without knowing what type of personality you're answering into a conversation with. You're getting on as though you've had 5 conversations already with this person. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing in business. It's also a little scary to think about how well, people know you.
Exactly. I mean, it is good, and it can prep you really well, but it can't tell you, or maybe it can, but I wasn't able to tell that you had a Glaswegian wife until we logged on this call. So, there's always missteps in it as well. But no, it's phenomenal, the tools that we've got available to us now. And then in regards to you as a CEO, are you using any particular tools to help you run the business?
Absolutely. I mean, there's probably a mix of 5 or 6 that I use all day, every day. And it really, I mean, the most simple form is something that's listening to every conversation that I have, transcribing it, and then giving it to a couple of agents that say, here's the follow-up, put this on the calendar, put this as a reminder, add this to the CRM. So the next time that you have a conversation with this person, you remember that they had a kid who was graduating high school, or like whatever it might be, like a lot of ways that was all manual. So it would get overlooked. And now it's done. Now I will say also, I do have a real assistant, and all he's doing all day is training on AI systems, because it helps him be so much more efficient. You would think he had 20 people working for him. So it's pretty cool.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that as well. So on to some just rapid fire questions now. So literally whatever comes into your head for the questions would be really cool. So first one would be, one e-commerce trend that you feel is overhyped.
Overhyped. I mean, I don't know. Can I still even say the metaverse, or is that just gone entirely?
I don't know. Is it? I think it could be gone.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years ago, every conference was just about the metaverse. And if you're not ready for the metaverse, you're missing out. And I knew at the time that was a totally overhyped trend, because it's just not our culture. We're just not there. So I'm going to stick with the metaverse.
Good answer. And then on the flip side of that, one that's underestimated.
I think agentic commerce is completely underestimated, mostly because people don't understand it. But it's not hypothetical. Like, it is absolutely happening every day. So that's where I would say.
Cool. Best product page you've ever seen?
There is a company called Rev Air, and it is a reverse hair drying technology. So it basically sucks all the water out of it. And it's expensive. So it needs a lot of education and a lot of information. And they had a ton of videos on there, but then once we did an expert review with a doctor explaining the function of it, sales shot through the roof. So I think that they are best in class, Rev Air, with one of their products.
I will check that out for sure. Next one, the biggest mistake that brands make with content, and that can be any content. It doesn't need to be B2B content. It can be any type of content.
I think thinking that all content is created equal. Just thinking, well, you need content, and that is not the case. You need very specific content for every point of the customer journey to speak to every type of customer you could imagine.
Yeah, cool. And then moving on to some more like, leader type stuff. So best piece of founder advice that you've ever received.
That I've ever received. It's when you're building your organization, you are very tempted to hire and just to hire quick because you need somebody to fill that role. But if you make the hire the wrong hire, it will take so much more out of the company and suck so much more time, energy, and money out of the company that it was not worth making that hire. So my favorite line is, I'd rather have a hole than an asshole when it comes to the company, because you could always fill a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. Good phrase. And then final one, what is one thing that every e-commerce leader should stop doing immediately?
Stop doing?
Yes.
I think stop worrying about how you're going to drive more and more and more traffic to your PDP until you fix your conversion problem.
Nice. Awesome. And then the final question for me would just be around, if we invited you onto this podcast 5 years from now, what would need to happen for you to say that the Desire company has exceeded every expectation that you have today?
That's a fantastic question. I don't know that I will ever be satiated in thinking that we've fulfilled everything that we want to and can do. But we are in a process right now of helping some massive companies stand up their retail media networks, and being in a position where retailers aren't just demanding more and more money from all the brands that they carry, but they're actually showing them the incredible results, and they're able to fulfill every aspect of a marketing campaign and education product campaign. That's my goal. If we could get in and a Walmart says, yes, you want to be in our store, you should be buying through our retail media network. And right now, they don't necessarily know where to go to get something done. But if they were able to fulfill that by leaning on us at every step of that consumer journey, then that's success for us.
Nice. Phenomenal. Really good insight and advice that we've received from you today, Eric. Before we close up, where's the best place for our listeners to follow along on your journey or the business?
Yeah, so the business is thedesirecompany.com. And then for me, LinkedIn /Eric Sheinkop, SHEINKOP is the best.
Nice one. Well, thanks very much, Eric. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. And we will talk to you all next time.
Thanks so much, Brian. I appreciate being here.